Even after being brutally sliced up, Dogma refuses to drop dead, dragging his bleeding body toward the dark sea. Vikir calmly walks down the bloody shoreline, keeping his eyes on his target as the mutated demon tries to escape into the waves. Dogma desperately clings to life, refusing to accept his end after surviving this long. Delusional to the very end, the demon convinces himself that the abyss is his personal stage, where he is destined to be the main character. But his delusions instantly shatter when he catches sight of Vikir standing at the edge of the water like a harbinger of absolute death. Panicking, Dogma dives deep into the black ocean, planning to swim away, find another island, and slowly rebuild his power. But as he swims deeper, he is suddenly paralyzed by pure terror. Back on the shore, Vikir senses a massive disturbance and demands to know why Decarabia never warned him about the predators in this sea. A sweating Decarabia quickly points out that nothing is supposed to survive in the toxic Black Sea, suddenly realizing that something impossible is happening. Vikir realizes they are not alone. A massive, unknown terror is lurking right beneath the dark waves. Just as Dogma tries to swim away, a giant shadow looms from the abyss, and massive, terrifying tentacles burst out of the dark water. This sudden, violent explosion of water leaves both the Baskerville triplets and Vikir stunned. Without a shred of mercy, the massive sea beast instantly tears the mutated Dogma into floating, bloody pieces, ending his villain arc in a split second. The colossal tentacles thrash violently, whipping up a massive storm of waves that forces Vikir to shield himself against the crashing ocean. Once the water calms, the drenched triplets run straight back to Vikir's side, relieved that their master is unharmed. But their relief is cut short when a red system notification flashes in front of Vikir, coldly announcing that his mission is an absolute failure because another monster stole his kill. While the group stands in confusion trying to figure out what to do next, a mocking voice suddenly calls out to them from the shoreline. Floating down from a dark portal, the quirky octopus-like guide of the 4th floor introduces herself as Scylla. As rain begins to pour over the dead forest, Scylla mockingly notes that it is a real shame the giant Shadowless King stole Vikir's kill, since defeating the mutated Dogma would have been another legendary achievement for the level 1 warrior. Intrigued by the name of the sea beast, Vikir listens as Scylla floats around him, mentioning that his flashy performance on the previous floors has caught the tower's attention. Getting right in his face, the guide reveals she heard rumors of him being a legendary swordmaster in the outside world, and she can easily tell those rumors are true. Hearing this, the Baskerville triplets are completely starstruck, taking absolute pride in the fact that their master is indeed a legendary swordmaster. Scylla smiles widely, noting that even though they technically failed this floor's main mission, it would be far too boring to let a powerhouse like Vikir off the hook so easily. Right on cue, a system alert rings out as Scylla explains that progression to the next floor has now been locked behind a special condition. She presents them with a high-stakes hidden mission. They must defeat the terrifying ocean overlord, the Shadowless King, and seize the tree's sap fountain. The triplets immediately panic, shouting that the system is basically ordering them to commit suicide by demanding they hunt such a colossal nightmare. Unbothered by their cries, Scylla smugly explains that the tower had to auto-adjust the floor's difficulty to maintain a proper balance for an absurdly overpowered challenger like Vikir. With a loud chime, the system officially starts a strict 24-hour countdown for the hidden quest. Floating over a silent, intensely focused Vikir, Scylla mockingly wishes them luck before bidding them a casual farewell. The guide instantly vanishes into thin air, leaving one of the triplets furious that she threw them into a death trap without leaving behind a single item or buff to help. Once Scylla is gone, Decarabia speaks up, noting that they have clearly made some petty enemies among the tower's managers. Vikir quietly agrees, realizing that the system is actively trying to screw him over. Gathering around a small campfire to rest, Vikir deduces that the entity that effortlessly devoured Dogma is indeed the Shadowless King. Decarabia confirms his fears, warning the group that this beast is on the exact same catastrophic tier as the legendary Madame Eightlegs. The triplets instantly choke on their food, panicking as they realize they are dealing with a genuine, purebred S-rank monster. Decarabia explains that the Black Sea is completely devoid of other life specifically because this monster sits at the absolute top of the food chain, slaughtering everything in its territory. The pendant adds that even the world-absorbing demon Amdusius couldn't tame this beast. It was simply dragged into the tower by accident when its original world was swallowed. Decarabia reminds Vikir that while the plant boss on the last floor was just a weakened, mixed-breed clone, the Shadowless King is a true, purebred calamity, making it highly doubtful that Vikir can survive this fight with his current restricted stats. Worried for their master, the triplets suggest that Vikir should finally eat his massive hoard of stat-boosting candies to give himself a fighting chance inside this cursed tower. But Vikir flatly refuses, declaring that he must keep hoarding every single candy to execute his master plan, leaving absolutely no room for waste. Refusing to take any shortcuts, Vikir commands Decorabia to follow him as he heads out into the pouring rain to prepare for the hunt. The triplets are left behind in absolute awe, staring in stunned silence at their master. While the rain pours outside, the exhausted triplets finally pass out from sheer fatigue. Meanwhile, deep in the dark, rainy woods, a mysterious silhouette quietly slips through the shadows. It turns out Vikir has activated his cheat-tier artifact, the picaresque mask, transforming himself into a harmless-looking little hound. Vikir reflects on how incredibly broken this artifact is, as transforming fully restores his drained stamina and depleted aura after his brutal battles. On top of that, the mask has a dark passive effect. Killing enemies while disguised still boosts his permanent stats, which was his ultimate training method in his past life. Looking up at the ticking countdown, the tiny hound checks the remaining time for his hidden hunt. He admits that while he easily handled the plant boss thanks to his regression knowledge, he has never once encountered the Shadowless King, not even during the apocalyptic future. Since there are zero records of this beast in his past life's memories, he realizes it is a completely undocumented threat that never made it to the surface world. Instead of backing down, Vikir just grins, feeling the thrill of a true, unpredictable hunt that takes him right back to his assassin roots. He firmly believes that every beast, no matter how legendary, has exploitable habits and weaknesses, meaning he can absolutely put this monster down.